My job for Ashley Moody was split into two different positions throughout my time with her. The first 3 months, I was a field representative, and there was 4 of us throughout the state. We each had 8 different counties. The counties that I specifically covered were Citrus, Hernando, Sarasota, Manatee, Polk, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough County. And it was our responsibility to travel to those different counties at least once a week, usually more than once a week, to speak on Ashley's behalf and represent her, spread her message throughout the state. And those days would typically start anywhere between 5 and 6 in the morning. And there was nights I wouldn't go home till 1, 2 in the morning. So very long hours. We would drive at least 150 to 200 miles a day. But that was my first part of the job. And then for the last 3 months of the campaign, they moved me into the office where I became her logistics manager. And it was my job to manage her calendar, make sure that her meetings weren't overlapping, that she was getting everywhere that she needed to be on time. I handled all of her travel for her. And I also assisted in finances to ensure that the finances were where we needed them to be in order to spread her message, not only from face-to-face with different people, but also through the phone and TV ads. I was able to get the job with Ashley Moody through my brother-in-law, Representative Lawrence McClure. He actually came to me last year and asked me to run his campaign. And even though I knew nothing about politics, I ran his campaign and ran it successfully, so he was able to be elected into the House of Representatives. So Ashley found out about me through that, as well as her consultants were my brother-in-law's consultants, so they knew me from that, and knew my work ethic and knew what I brought to the team for Lawrence. So they asked me if I would join Ashley's team, and I did, and I'm grateful that I did. I would say the number one thing that I learned from this job was to take opportunities that you don't necessarily want to take. If you would have asked me 6 months ago if I wanted to get back into the politics world, I would have said absolutely not. I didn't want anything to do with politics. But God has a funny way of working, and every position that I was being offered was somewhat revolved around politics. I was offered 3 different jobs on 3 different campaigns throughout the election cycle. Never wanted back in politics, but this was the position that allowed me to stay home and stay local. And I was also in school at the time. I was finishing my degree, so this one allowed me to stay here and be the hometown Gator that I was. And it just kind of fell into my lap. So I would say definitely take opportunities that you don't see yourself taking, because you don't know what they're going to lead to. Now that the campaign is over, I actually have a job with Ag America Lending in Lakeland. I start with them on December 10th, and I'm going to be working with their CEO of the company and his assistant. And I'll be doing the logistics side of things over there, handling their traveling and the big events and things that they have. But they're also giving me an opportunity to meet with them at least once a month to discuss how I can move up in the company. They're a business that's growing rapidly, and Farm Credit is their number one competitor, so they're giving me the opportunity to grow my love for the agriculture industry and move up in the business. I would say some components with CLD that helped me with my position with Ashley Moody is definitely the communication side of it. Meeting with people face to face was a big component of my job, but also, especially the second half of my job, having the phone etiquette needed in order to communicate with people. I would have people call me at least once a day. I had the campaign phone, and I would get called and cussed out at least once or twice a day. So having the composure to keep it together while you're on the phone with them and just let them say what they're going to say and not get angry and not get frustrated, but try to offer a hand of assistance to them and figure out what you can do to help them. CLD helped me prepare for that, because it taught me, things aren't always going to go the way you want them to go, but you just have to take things with a grain of salt. And also being able to multitask. I've always been able to multitask and do different positions and different tasks at different times. But getting my degree in CLD, I was also working a full-time job and volunteering at my church. So having those 3 different aspects of life during my time at UF, it allowed me to really come to terms with time management. I chose to major in CLD because it's such a broad degree. I mean, you can really do anything with a CLD degree. And it was honestly an easy decision to come to. It's not my first choice in major that I had. I thought I was going to go be an elementary education teacher. I convinced my parents to let me take a year off of school to sub for a year. So I had my own classroom from the first day of school to the last day of school. Quickly realized that I loved kids but did not love being with them for 8 hours a day. Saw an ad in the Field magazine that they were now offering communications for this campus. Went home and told my mom I wanted to go and talk to them about it, and never looked back. Submitted my application that night, was accepted, and just the opportunities it's presented me. I mean, I can really do anything with my job. Like I've said, I've gone from politics to now going to the ag industry, so it's just really a broad degree that you can do anything with.